800 Lex Town, and, in a strip along the billboard's bottom, the wording, "Make a difference. Become a Philadelphia police officer," next to a photograph of the smiling faces of attractive young women and men attending the police academy. Payne walked quickly to the daily grind. As he pulled on the stainless steel handle of the diner's glass door, then started to step inside, he almost collided with a grim-faced, heavy-set Latina in her 20s carrying 3 waxed paper to-go coffee cups. He made a thin smile, stepped back, made a grand sweep with his free arm for her to pass through the doorway first, then went inside. It was a small space, permeated by the smell of fried grease and coffee. The only seating was at a stainless steel countertop at the back that overlooked the open kitchen. Elsewhere, customers could stand at the 9 round, high-top tables and at the worn wooden counter that ran at chest height along the side walls and the front windows. There were just 2 customers now, both older men who were seated at opposite ends of the back counter and busy with their meals. An enormous, coal-black man in his 40s, wearing a grease-stained white apron tied over jeans and a sweaty white t-shirt, stood stooped at the gas-fired grill, his large biceps bulging as he methodically worked a long-handled wire brush back and forth. Flames flared up with each pass. The cook stopped, looked over his shoulder, saw Payne, called out, "Hey man, he'll be right with you," then turned back to scrubbing the grill. At the far right end of the counter, under a sign reading "Order Here, Pay Here" that hung from the ceiling tiles by dust-coated chains, was the cash register, and just beyond it was a faded emerald green wooden door with "Toilet for Paying Cust Only" that appeared to have been handwritten in haste with a fat-tipped black ink permanent marker. The bathroom door began to swing open, and a brown-skinned male in his late teens stepped out, drying his hands on a paper towel. DeQuan Williams was 5'8", extremely thin, and under a ball cap with "The Daily Grind" in stenciled letters across its front, his shoulder-length wavy reddish-brown hair was tied back with a rubber band. He wore black jeans and a tan t-shirt that was emblazoned with a coarse drawing of the Liberty Bell, its crack exaggerated, and the wording, "Philly, nobody likes us and we don't care." The teenager made eye contact with Payne, nodded just perceptibly, then looked away as he went to the rack of coffee pots. He pulled a heavy china mug from a pyramid-shaped stack, filled it with coffee, then carried it to Payne, who now stood by a window in the front corner of the shop opposite the door, watching the sidewalk traffic over the top edge of the newspaper as he casually flipped its pages. The teenager placed the steaming mug on the wooden counter beside a wire rack containing packets of cream and sugar. "Thanks, DeQuan," Payne said, then yawned widely as he reached for the coffee. "I really need this." He held out a $5 bill. DeQuan didn't take it. He nodded toward the enormous cook cleaning the grill. "Boss man say you don't pay," he said, keeping his voice low so as not to be overheard. "I appreciate that, but I like to pay my way." Payne put the money on the counter, then sipped the coffee. DeQuan nodded. He took the bill. Payne glanced at DeQuan's left ear. What looked like a new diamond stud sparkled in the lobe. Payne considered mentioning it, but instead gently rattled the newspaper cover page. "So," Payne said quietly, "what do you know on this hit?" DeQuan's eyes shifted to the front page of the newspaper, and his facial expression changed to one of frustration. The photograph showed, behind yellow tape imprinted with "Police Line Do Not Cross," 2 members of the medical examiner's office standing at the rear of a white panel van. They were in the process of lifting through the van's back doors a gurney holding a full body bag. Splashed across the image was the headline, "Number 360. Another murder, another record." The teenager, head down, quickly turned on his heel and marched to the cash register. He punched in the coffee, made change, then carefully closed the cash drawer as he scanned the front door and windows. Then, from beneath the register, he pulled out the busboy cart and rolled it to the front of the diner. "Your change," he said in a normal voice, holding the money out to Payne.